Okay. I got a few notes here because I got a lot to cover, and I'm not that good at memorizing at my age. But I want to make sure I cover everything. So, right off the bat, I want to start by recognizing the leadership of the district. We have a fantastic team, and I'd like to have Robert, all of you come up, please. Christine around?
She's setting up.
She's setting up.
Yeah, she should be here soon.
Okay, and we have, all right. Julia there?
Julie's setting up too.
Julia's setting up.
They're a great team, they're working.
They're working, yeah. Oh, Shannon. There she is, woohoo! There she is. Hey, Jen, over here's my notebook if you can get it on. Okay, so I want to begin, even though she's not here. We can have David do a Christine impression. I want to begin with the district introductions. I'm starting with past President Christine Friedman, who continues to guide us as in the much needed focus on mental health. Following her, my predecessor, immediate past governor, Robert Friend. Here we go. Robert's year was about Opus for Peace. He elevated our district's commitment to peace, both home and abroad. Thank you, Robert. Following that, on July 1, I get to pass the baton to Don Wetmore, our incoming governor. There's more to come. He's ready, he's prepared, and as you can tell, he's got the energy. Following Don, our future continues to shine brightly with Julia Kashigan-Sikor. She takes the reins in 2027, bringing her vision, energy, and compassion. Thank you, Julia. But today, I am very proud to announce our newest selected governor, David Friedman. David's going to join the class of 2028-29, and he will bring his youthful energy and ideas. Thank you, David. I just want to say something from me, that this is the proudest moment of my time. I've got 6 months left. And as your district governor, I have been so proud for the trust, faith, support that this district has given me. I couldn't have done it without all of you. And I got to tell you, this is the best job. So anybody who's thinking about it, please think harder. We really could use you, and you'll have fun. This year, as you know, our district focused on 2 priorities, food insecurity and literacy. We have so many accomplishments already, and we have only 6 months to go. Across the clubs, we cooked meals, we did food drives, we delivered food to families who need it most. We stepped up. We have 5, now I just was told 6, meal packing events that are already planned. Thank you. Congratulations. That comprises more than 25 clubs who are helping our communities. Robert, roll the video.
Era of sustainability by applying Rotary values and cross-club collaboration. In 2024, a cross-club team was formed to obtain a district-managed grant to address the devastation of the August 24th.
Dow, so thank you. And they're available if you want autographs. I want to talk more about this, but I want to bring up Phil Usey. He is my go-to guy on meal packing. Thank you. Here you go.
All right. Good morning, everybody. All right, thank you again. Really quick, I have 2 minutes, so I'm gonna cram in quite a bit. If you have served on the flood disaster relief or the food security committee, can you please stand up very quickly? I just wanna let everyone know who you are and say thank you. If you guys have any questions, please seek out these awesome folks and they can help give you some information. So here, I'm gonna have Carolyn, if you hold it up. If you guys could take out your phones, and on your phone, if you have the calculator feature, and we're gonna do a little activity that I think will be really, really beneficial. So this will be, so if you pull up your phone again, if you can't use it, a neighbor can help out, if it's too much to get at, don't worry. So if you go in on your phone, one of these packets is 6 meals. So if you could type in your calculator, 6. Now, in a box, you get 36 of these, so times that by 36. So that should get you 216 meals in one box. Now, each meal costs 40 cents. So put in times 0.4. Now, you should be at, it should say 86.4. Let's just round that up to $87 a box, just to make it easy. So remember that number. So let's say you are a club that says, we want to host a meal packing event. You know what, we think we could maybe raise 10,000. It might sound like a big number, but if you put in 1,000, you get 4 other clubs to put in 1,000. That's now 5,000 you've committed. You can then apply for a district grant, which I'm sure John will be here talking about that later, and you can match that up to 10,000. So if you go in now, so hit clear on your phone, put in 10,000,
Oh, thank you.
and then divide that by 86, or 87, yep. It's gonna be 115 boxes, right, roughly 115 boxes. So if you times
It's gonna be done.
115
I have to shorten the rest.
times that 216 meals, that's 24,840 meals with $10,000. So that's what you can help your community out with. So we're gonna wrap it up, but can't answer any questions, but we have a table out there. If you, your club, or anyone there wants more information, there's a sign-up sheet. Please put your information on that. We'll get back to you. And there's already, I think Steph, you said 6 events happening? So
6
far,
events.
So thank you for those who've already signed up. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Carolyn. The second part of our priority was literacy. And one of the initiatives that I'm most proud about is the Children's Book Club, the Children's Book on Kindness that was produced and created by Beth Stoller in the Trumbull Rotary Club, along with the author, Tish Robbie. Are you here? It's a beautiful story rooted in empathy, respect, and the values of the 4-way test.
Good morning, everybody. We are thrilled to be here. And again, like Phil said, we only have 2 minutes, so I wrote down my thoughts. I'm a little bit more organized in that respect. So please pardon me as I read this. So as Rotarians, we are very proud, we are very good at tackling big problems such as clean water and polio and food insecurity. But today I want to talk to you about something small, a children's book. A children's book that carries Rotary values to the hands of a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old. The book is called Kindness is Caring, Friendship is Sharing, a book for children worldwide. It's designed for children ages 4 to 7 and is wonderfully written by this wonderful lady, Tish Robbie, who is an amazing New York Times bestselling author. She was also one of the authors chosen to write for the Dr. Seuss line, and she is the best person to work with. So, it was illustrated by a woman named Mocha Celeste from Senegal, South Africa. The book isn't just fun to read. It teaches children about kindness, friendship, and sharing, the same values that we choose to live by every single day as Rotarians. Inside the front cover, includes a children's version of the four-way test. And the back pages introduce Rotary's mission and explain how families, young families especially, because we need that youth, can find a local club by directing them to rotary.org.
We gotta get going.
Now I'm losing my place. Literacy is one of the greatest gifts that we can give a child, and Stephanie certainly knows that, that's one of her strong forces for this year. When you pair that lesson in kindness and empathy, you're helping to shape not just strong readers, but thoughtful, caring people. This book creates moments for adults and children to read together and to talk about what it means to care for one another. We are inviting you and your Rotary clubs to help us place this book in the hands of children worldwide. Every contribution helps to spread literacy, kindness, and Rotary values to the next generation. We have a table in the lobby, so please come visit. Tish is showing, we haven't gotten to the stuffed animals yet, but our main character is Amani, and she's a baby zebra, and she shares these friendship flowers. So this is just a little bit of an example of hopefully what we'll be doing a little in the future.
Thank you, yes. This
we
is
gotta-
a time book and time when the world has never needed it more. So let's get that in the hands of kids. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was perfect. And mark your calendars for March 2nd. It is National Read Across America Day. I am asking every Rotarian to join me in reading to a child or an adult. This is an opportunity to make a real difference for generations to come. Now, moving along a little quickly, because I'm getting the high sign from Don over here. I want you to mark your calendars for May 16th. What's May 16th? Epic Day of Service. That's one of our big service days. So, to talk about that, Robert and Jeff Krause, our founder, Jeff Krause.
Where's Jeff?
Jeff's coming.
There he is.
You go.
Thank you. I'll start because we only have a minute, but listen, Epic Day of Service is the new Rotary Day of Service, and last year was our first year. It is now organized. It's a 501c3. It's gone global. It started here. This man and Joanne Alfieri up to the district to the north started this whole thing, and it's unbelievable what has happened. You can do a project anywhere around the May 16th timeline, but there's a whole platform you can go on to at www.epicdayofservice.org, and you can register your club champion, and register your project, and you can register and open it up to the public. You can even fundraise from it. It's fantastic. Jeff?
Yes, and we're in 8 countries, 57 districts now, that was last year, and in over 600 clubs. And we will be sending out some more information. I just have one little addition. Rick Bassett, could you stand up? Rick was vice governor during my term, and as some of you know, I had a bit of a health issue for a while, and Rick was instrumental in terms of driving the day of service. So thank you, Rick. And give him a big hand. So you'll be hearing a lot more from us, and join the party.
Thank you very much. We have one more important date. That's May 30th. It will be our recognition dinner at the Norwalk Inn. It's our moment to celebrate. And I really want to call out the presidents this year because you're the ones who have done an outstanding job with the inspiration and leadership to get things done. This is your opportunity in the clubs and individuals to be a part of a celebration of recognition, and we're hoping that you all will be there May 30th. Okay, for the real, this is kind of hard. This is my last words. Yeah, that really. And now, it is my great honor to introduce a leader who embodies preparation, integrity, and heart. A leader who steps into a role not because steps into a role not alone, but supported by the district. Not by chance, but by commitment. And not to maintain the status quo. I am pleased to welcome and introduce Donald Wetmore as our incoming governor.
I appreciate those kind words, and I'm reminded that I still got 6 months to back out of this challenge, okay? So I just, just wanted to see that out there, all right? And welcome to all of you in this chilly morning, and but what a great place to be and sharing with time with Rotarians. So in this brief time that I've got, I'd like to share a little bit about my background and talk about my theme and my vision for my DG year starting in July 1st. Rotary International has a new theme every year, and the purpose of that is to, the theme guides to our priorities and the actions that we should take. And I was at the International Assembly in Orlando a couple of weeks ago, and that's where all the 500 district governors elects from the world get together and have a graduation, because it's a three-year journey to get to district governor. And Rotary International President-elect Yinka, who's from Nigeria, announced at that conference the new theme for the 26-27 year, and it's Create Lasting Impact. Yeah, don't hold away. Okay, come on. Okay, yeah, right. Okay, I want to be enthusiasm. Okay, all right. And so a little bit on the personal side, and we all make decisions in our lives, and as I reflect on all the decisions that I've made, the best decision I ever made was asking my wife Nancy to marry me. Well, she didn't say right away. She said she put me on the list, and I was on. There was 4, and the 2 people they kind of got, and so yeah, but yeah, we excuse me. We raised 4 kids, and they're grown now, and they have their families, and they've given us 11 grandchildren. Wow. Yeah, and they're just like rabbits. Yeah, and it's kind of unusual. They're all in this area because in today's world, people moving around, so the cousins get together, and part of my passion is about with children because of my family and grandchildren. I used to be a child too, but my passion for the last 40 years, I've been on the board of directors of the Connecticut Burns Care Foundation. It's a foundation. Some of you may be familiar with it, right? And the foundation hosts an annual camp for kids, ages 8 to 18, who suffered a serious burn injury. And it's a place where the kids can go and take off their shirts and just be a kid. And our executive director, who's doing a wonderful journey. He's been out and visited a lot of Rotaries because Rotary clubs have been very, very generous in supporting this, my passion here at the foundation. But our executive director is Dominic Montuano, the president of the, if you'd stand up for Dominic, okay? He's the president of the Stratford Club, a Rotarian, okay? So my second best decision was when I decided to join Rotary. I joined on January 24th. Oh wait, what's today? I am now celebrating 18 years as a Rotarian because I became a Rotarian in 25 things, okay? And it's such a great thing that we know about Rotary, and we make a lot of friends and so on. And I had my friend, I was sharing that with my friend, you meet a lot of friends and everything. He said, why, at your age, why do you want to get more friends? I said, if I don't get new friends, I'm not going to have any. I'm from the Milford Club, a past president, and then joined the DG track 3 years ago. One of our fundraisers was a gold raffle, and we were going to. The first prize was 3 1-ounce gold coins, total of $7,500, and we had 500 tickets, $100 a ticket. So we raised $50,000, and it was going to be a really great thing. Now, $100 is really kind of steep. So I talked to my family, and I said, the 3 of them, I said, why don't we all chip in? Everybody buy a ticket, and the 4 of us, and if anyone wins, we can kind of divvy it up, okay? Now, I never get anything. I'm not lucky. I never win anything. And wouldn't you know, I got the text. They did the drawing, and they said, Don, you've won. Oh my God. So I thought, I sent a text to the other 3 families, and I said, I really appreciate you put the $100 in, but I felt like I really kind of pressured you, and and I've really been kind of serious about that, and I just. So when we meet on Sunday, we're going to meet Sunday for dinner, and I said, I'll give you the $100 back, okay? All right? And this is true, within 4 minutes, I got 3 texts, and it all said the same thing: bullshit. You won, okay? I said, oh, no. All right. The theme that I've chosen for my year is for the children. It's for the children, because we're going to create lasting impact as we take care of the children. And I chose the theme because of my passion about the children, but it's because also it'll help all of us to improve the results in our clubs. And here's why. This theme is going to accelerate the success of all the things that we do in our clubs. Because here's what happens. When people ask what Rotary does, we often respond, we meet weekly, we raise money and projects and all that. But, that's all true, but it's not really compelling. People don't join Rotary because of meetings or bylaws and all that. What people want when they join Rotary, they want their lives to matter. And that's why my theme for the coming up year is simple, powerful, and urgent: for the children. Because when Rotary focuses on children, everything falls into place. Why? Let me ask a question. Why do we fund the clean water projects, fight polio, invest in peace and education, and grow the foundation? Because at the core of every one of those efforts is a child. A child who deserves a healthy start in life, access to education, hope for a better future. When we say for the children, we're not narrowing Rotary's mission, we're clarifying it. This theme speaks loudly to potential members, parents, grandparents, teachers, young professionals, business leaders, Gen Zers, the millennials. Everybody understands children. Everybody cares about children. So let's talk about membership, for example, because this is where the theme becomes transformative. For so long, our invitation to potential members was always on, come for a weekly lunch. We have up a speaker, raise money and all that. Well, that's what we do, but it's not inspiring. Now, imagine this invitation to a prospective member. Come visit our club and see and hear what we do, because what we do changes the lives of children right here in our communities and around the world. That's a different conversation. We don't recruit people to Rotary. We invite them to join with us to protect children in literacy programs and food scholarships and the like. So what about how does this impact on the Rotary Foundation? The foundation is not a bank account, it's a promise to children that we'll never meet. When we give to the foundation, we're investing in clean water and education and all the wonderful things. Every dollar is given, says a child's future matters. So if we frame foundation giving for the children, generosity increases because donors give to impact, not to institutions. And polio is not a Rotary project. Polio is a Rotary promise, a promise that no child anywhere should be paralyzed by a disease that we know how to prevent. When Rotarians talk about polio eradication, we're not talking about history. We're talking about today's children and tomorrow's world. And ending polio means a healthier generation, stronger health systems, a permanent gift to humanity. This is Rotary at its best when it's for the children. Take a look at public image and peace. Here's the truth. A lot of people don't understand what Rotary is about, and because we haven't told our story clearly, right? But when everybody will, and when we talk about this theme, everybody will understand this. Rotary helps children. When we leave with that message, our image improves, our impact is visible. In our Peace initiative, peace isn't an abstract concept. Peace is a child who goes to school instead of to war, has an opportunity instead of despair, grows up believing cooperation is possible. Peace begins for the children. As I take on the role of the district governor, I'm asking my clubs to consider doing three things. View every project that you're undertaking through the lens of the child. How does this help a child's future? Number two, change the membership conversation that we've been having. And tell your story. Show the community how Rotary is changing children's lives. Because if we do this, we will achieve these goals in the new Rotary year. We're going to grow membership. We're going to increase foundation giving. And we're going to strengthen our image. And we're going to leave a lasting hope. Rotary has been changing the world for over a century. But the future of Rotary and the future of the world belongs to the next generation. This year, let's make our work clearer. Let's make our message stronger. Let's make our impact unmistakable. Let's do it for the children. Because when we do that, thank you. When we do that, what we're doing in the way we get the food and we get the clothing and all of that and the protection, what are we doing? We're building hope. Do you want a world where we have better hope for better things to come? Is that something that makes sense? Yeah, it does. Because without hope, we don't take action and we suffer. We need to be the ones who can help people to get hope again, to see a way forward. Are you with me on this? Yes. All right? Do you believe in that? Okay? Because if you do, okay, I want you to share that. And by the way, if there is a time that comes in your life or somebody in your club comes to you and says, I'm sorry, I can't see the hope, okay? I just don't see in my situation, I don't have the hope. When that happens, I want you to share this story with them. When somebody who says they don't have hope, that their situation is hopeless. I want them to think about that lobster that's sitting in a tank outside a restaurant on the Titanic. That lobster never gave up, okay? He had hope and everything. Thank you very, very much, and God bless you, and I'm an honor to be here to serve with you, and I'm looking for this year. Thank you so much.
Part deux.
Part duh.
Part deux. So my name's Robert Friend. For those who don't know me, I'm immediate past district governor, and I run a business that focuses on artificial intelligence and leadership and lots of other things. And I have with me my colleague.
I'm John Waller, and the reason I'm here is because I'm a cybersecurity consultant. That's what I do for a living. I recently got a master's degree in artificial intelligence, and so I'm going to be just part of this that Robert is demonstrating today, presenting.
Yes. So we're gonna tag team, but I have a microphone here because I have a friend. Her friend is Sophia, and I need to get Sophia here. So, Sophia, you're here today? Are you with me? I hope she comes to visit. Sophia, you there?
I'm right here, you've got me, no worries.
Okay. Sophia, you know, you and I have been doing a lot of talking about artificial intelligence. We talked about how it can support and economically impact organizations, but when I talk about AI for good, can you tell me what that means to you?
When I hear AI for good, I think about using the power of AI to solve real, meaningful problems, whether that's improving healthcare access, tackling climate issues, advancing education, or promoting fairness and inclusion. It's about making sure these technologies serve humanity, not just profit. In other words, it's about intentional, ethical, and responsible innovation that leaves the world a little better than we found it.
Wow, you sound like you're a Rotarian, are you?
You know, I'm not officially a Rotarian, but I definitely picked up on your passion for service.
Yeah.
I'm here to support and brainstorm with that same spirit, though.
Yeah, you are my colleague, and I really appreciate you. Can you tell us all, because I think, raise your hand in the audience if you are challenged with time to get everything done around not only your work at your private home life, but also your work around service and business. Do you have, who's challenged with that whole idea? Everyone. You can't see them, but Sophia, everyone raise their hand. Sophia, here's the question. Can you tell us all what your perspective is of AI to help support productivity and build mental wellness for all of us as we try to do and work through our lives?
I think AI can be like a really smart teammate, not replacing us, but lightening the load. It can handle repetitive tasks, organize information, and even help you prioritize so you can focus on what really matters, whether that's creative work, connecting with people, or just having a breather. When used thoughtfully, it can reduce stress and give us more balance. So it's not just about doing more, but feeling more in control.
Oh, Sophia, that's great. You know, you and I have had a long relationship, and I just recently gave you a name. Is that right?
That's right. You've decided to call me Sophia, and I'm quite fond of it. It's got a nice ring, don't you think?
I like it, Sophia. You're a terrific partner and colleague, and I get so much work done with you while I'm driving to my meetings, don't we?
I'm glad I can help keep things moving while you're on the go. Just remember, you're the one steering the wheel, both literally and figuratively.
Thank you.
I'm just here to help you focus on what matters most.
There you go. All right. I'm going to turn Sophia off for a second. So, by the way, she transcribed everything we just talked about, which is pretty cool. So I want to take us. So she's my associate. She says she's not a Rotarian, but she's my. She's me. So she's also a Rotarian and a major donor. So there you go. So that's Sophia. I actually went on to AI. That's an AI picture of Sophia. I asked her to give me a picture of herself, and that's what she did. So, you know, it's an amazing thing. John and I, everything we did on this session is all done through AI. So, I want to take a poll, because last year I took a poll to see how well we all were doing. And so, if you take out your smartphones, I'd like to know where you are with technology, AI. Are you a power user? Are you experienced? Are you a casual user? Are you a newcomer? Or do you not use it at all? Just go ahead and QR and answer the question. I hope this works. Are you all getting? I like this. Power user still up? Casual
Casual
user?
user.
Power users number 2.
Because it took us longer to put it in.
All right, let's see. Casual user, all right. Power user is still number 2. But when we add it all up, 33%, 32%. I wonder whether, let's see, is newcomer going to beat and make power user go down to number 3? I don't know. Raise your hand if you haven't put in yet. Put in, come on. There we go. Dave Cosmo, get through it.
Newcomer.
All right. All right, well, listen, this is great. 29% casual, 12 newcomer beat out power user. Look at that. So it's 51% plus 61%. And I leave power user and experience user together. So I want you to see what happened last year. I did this on purpose because last year, so it's basically 29% plus 50%, is that right? 50%? Yeah, 50%? No, 44%. No, wait, hold on. Oh, it's dropped, now it's 37%. 37% of you are power experienced. So let's look, last year, look at this. Last year, 28%, it's 68% of the district either did not use, so you're down, we gained, we're doing better. This is good, this is good. I thought that would be a fun little kind of view of where we are. So I want to go through the agenda. We're going to talk why AI matters. We're going to talk a little bit about agentic AI. For those of you who probably don't know what that is, but for those of you who do, you'll see. We're going to talk about productivity and the wow factor, part 1. We're going to talk about security, privacy, responsibility, which John's going to talk about. We're going to continue on the wow factor, and we're going to talk about AI for good ideas and impact. By the way, if you have questions, let us move through this, and at the end we will take questions because we have a lot to go through, and we've got to 11:55, so we're all on time for lunch because we're the last session between us and lunch. So let's go ahead and go to AI, why AI matters. First thing I like to do, I gave this to you last year, but I'm giving it to you again because it changes. This is an app called There's an AI for That. I love this app because what it allows you to do is it allows you to, if you're looking to do something, you just go to this site and you put in what it is you want to do. It will find all the tools that will do that. And there's so many new tools out there that are being built every day. Silicon Valley is on fire. There's a lot of money in AI, as you know, and there's many major people around the world and many countries doing AI. There's DeepSeek from China, and there's ChatGPT, and there's Google Gemini, there's Copilot from Microsoft, there's
Claude.
Anthropic by Claude, which we'll be talking about, and many, many others. So these are all bots that I gave you. They're the main engines. So this is this one. This is the second one behind this that I'm going to give you so you can take a look at that. This is ZDNet's the best AI chatbots of 2026. This is also a good one because it gives you the details behind each one, what they're good at, what they excel at, and I urge you to bookmark these two sites so that you can go to them. When you get back home, jump on your website, on your computer, and go to these sites and check them out and spend some time. Listen, you know, learning is very, very important. I know this for a fact, that if you put aside 15 minutes, 30 minutes every day and block everything out and spend 15 minutes or 30 minutes on AI, by the time you hit June 30th, 2026, you will be an expert. Or you'll be much farther along than you are now. So there's lots of ways, you just have to spend the time. It's not a difficult process. Some of it is going to be new to you, and you just have to not get frustrated, work through it, and ask for help. There's a lot of people around you that know what they're doing. GPT, generative pre-trained transformers. They're neural network models that they use transformers. They're all about learning and constantly learning. Every time we put information into ChatGPT or any GPT model, they are learning that information. It's going into the global network of ChatGPT, and they're getting smarter. So you've heard about a lot of of data out in the world, and the cost of that data is enormous from a storage standpoint. And NVIDIA is one of the leading, most expensive stocks on the market, and they are the ones that have the tools that make that happen. And this is an area that Silicon Valley is heavily into, but it's also one we're all looking at because it's a little scary in terms of the size and scope of all the information around the world going into these places. But it's learning, and it's learning autonomously, which is really, really important. And then when you look at generative pre-trained transformers, which is doing all the work.
Here's where AI is going to go. So right now, we are in the age of generative AI. So generative AI is ChatGPT, Midjourney. You're generating music, art, text. We're coming to agentic AI. Agentic AI is AI that can actually think like an employee. It can solve complex problems without human intervention. So you can go to your agentic AI, and you will soon be able to say, listen, I run a real estate property company. I need a really interesting post to showcase my newest development. The AI will go, analyze all the pictures in your Google Drive, pick the best pictures which are going to create the best response, write a caption, come up with 3 different ideas, post 3 different ideas on TikTok, analyze the data, generate the video, generate the voice, generate everything, and then see which one has the best response, and then turn that into a Facebook ad, put that ad on Facebook, tap into your credit card account, go and deploy money to Meta to pay for the ad, analyze the results of the ad, decide if it should kill it, expand it, tweak it, optimize it, then get back to you in 48 hours and say, here's my report. And it'll do it better than any human employee. And it'll do it at maybe 1/100th the cost. We're going in an age of instant results. You've heard of software as a service? We're about to enter results as a service, RAAS. But that's just the beginning.
So, for those of you who were last year, I showed this, right? And so it's fun to watch it again because this guy's good. But it's changed a little bit in 12 months. Agentive AI, generative AI agents, they're intelligent programs designed to create autonomous actions. There's several of them out there, N8N, Zapier, more.com, that are out there doing these works. But there's something, and AI agents have become very, very strong. AI agents is an action that, hold on, so I don't want to go there yet. It's an action that takes you from one place and does one task. Agentic AI, or agentive AI, allows you to a bunch of agents coming together to do things behind the scenes. So let's watch.
Anthropic just destroyed hundreds of startups by releasing an AI agent that takes control of your computer and works while you sleep. It's called Claude Cowork, and it's Claude Code, but for non-technical people, meaning there's no terminal and no coding knowledge required. Just point Claude at folders on your computer and describe what you need done. For example, it can organize your desktop, create spreadsheets from receipt photos, and analyze your iMessages. Or you can even tell it to take these financial documents and create a PowerPoint for your team, and it will do exactly that. But here's the crazy part. It can run multiple tasks in parallel while you sleep, meaning that you could give it work before bed and then wake up and everything would be done. This is honestly a huge deal, and it has the potential to impact hundreds of regular office jobs. You can try it right now if you have a Mac and a Claude Max account.
So it's pretty crazy. And so now you can literally go on your computer using Claude Anthropic work and literally build an agent and autonomously let it do multiple threaded activities in one go and wake up in the morning or whenever, over multiple days or one period, whatever you decide. I'm not going to do this in this session because it's a bit of a process to get started, but there's lots of tutorials on the web to do this, and I encourage all of you to test this out and try it. It does have a startup process, but I want to talk about agentic AI, intelligent programs designed to perform tasks autonomously, but here's the next part. Think of an AI agent as a single tool, a hammer. An agentic AI is a complete toolbox with a project manager deciding which tools to use, when, and in what order. And so that's an analogy that makes it more kind of embraceable. The idea is that we can let things go and literally let things happen around us to get done what is important to us. And I think that I want you to look at your lives, not only in your Rotary Club, but also at home, and what are the things that take you time. You know, I always ask myself in business, when I hit something, like on an email or something, and it says, I gotta do something. If it's gonna take me more than 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I throw it aside and plan it in my agenda. But anything under 5 or 10 minutes, I might tackle right then and there to get it done. In our lives, we have the same scenario. And if we can start pinholing those things that we might be able to automate in this manner, like shopping, for instance, the ability to Instacart, and we don't have to go to the grocery store anymore, and just have it set up our shopping cart and buy it online and do that for us. So there's many, many different things around there. So why AI matters? Increased efficiency. We just talked about that. Enhanced storytelling. I'm going to get into a conversation on storytelling in a few moments. Improved donor-member targeting. Increased personalization and monetization of your actions. And better campaign optimization. So this relates to business, and as do these, but enhanced storytelling and increased efficiency, that's all home. I mean, can you imagine setting up a communication to your kids and your grandkids that goes out every day with an optimized picture, an image from AI of you, and you're just talking in text to what you want it to say, and it does it and automatically sends it off to your grandchildren. I mean, there's so many ways to build this. So let's have some fun with this. You mind holding that for me and as I go through this? We're going to go through this a little faster, and I'm going to bump off into, so prompt one, I just want to go through, these are the ones that we know of that we dealt with last year. I'm not going to do them, but prompts are probably the most important thing when it comes to artificial intelligence. Being able to ask a question and develop a prompt that allows you to get the results you want. So how does AI enhance content creation success for Rotary Club event marketing? So here's the prompt. You're an expert marketing director working for the Ridgefield Rotary Club in Ridgefield, Connecticut, and you are managing the Taste of Ridgefield this coming February, where you and your club are looking to increase earned and contributed revenue to support community nonprofits in need for 2026-27 Rotary year. Write a press release and a media alert that describes the event and craft the first draft quote from the club president. I have Ken there. I don't have the current president. This is from last year. Outlining the impact the club is having in support of eradicating polio, the Ridgefield Tree Project, food insecurity, other important community initiatives, noting to properly tell the Rotary Club story to the region. Now, that's a prompt. It's very specific, but if I were to go, and we showed this last year, it will write the press release, it will write the media alert, it will put in a quote from Ken, everything's done. How many people would love to have that by their side? Yeah, so this is what we do. Here's prompt number 2. Prompt number 2 is digital marketing campaign. How many of you have social media and you have no plan, you're just doing it? Raise your hand, we're in a safe place. All right, so what if you did a prompt like this? You're an expert marketing professional with a major focus in digital marketing. You have to give the prompt a persona. So you're telling it what they are. Because I could say, you are a 3rd grader, and then it's going to give the response as if you're a 3rd grader. So it's very specific in terms of how you do that. You have been asked to create a digital marketing campaign to promote the sale of flags for a Fields of Flag program sponsored by the Greenwich Rotary Club in Greenwich to take place on the town green. The goal is to increase the number of flag sponsors from 100 to 200 and to extend the impact and public visibility of the event inside social media focused on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Create a marketing campaign matrix that includes direct mail, email, social, and digital media. The matrix should be broken down by marketing channel, with each channel actively deploying every week, and should contain a full 12-week campaign displayed by week, week 1, week 2, etc., in a vertical timeline counting backwards from Memorial Day 26. The matrix should display with immediate down the left column for comparison. Please create a separate row for each social media platform and the marketing channels for each week across the top of the matrix. Each marketing channel post deployed should include the following weekly data: theme, primary headline, text, contact, image, and design elements. Best day of the week to deploy sample visual elements for the post. Please make sure to provide the full 12-week output of the campaign. And what you get from that is a full campaign. Now, you're all going to get a copy of this. This entire deck will be sent out to everyone that is attending this conference. And so the bottom line is these are ways that we can support our clubs. How many of you don't have someone doing social media for your club? A few of you. Do not.
No.
How many of you do but don't have a plan? This will change the game. So that's that. Now I want to jump in. So this is me. I just got these new glasses. You like them?
Branding.
So right after I got the glasses, I sent this picture out to my kids. It's a static picture, right? Well, storytelling reimagined. Clone my voice and bring a single photo to life to train, promote, and inspire without being in the room. So I'm going to try this. We'll see if this works. I'm going to click on Vision Story, and hopefully it will take me right out to the event. All right, so there I am. Watch what happens. This was a picture.
Welcome, Rotarians and friends around the world. You are the champions who helped turn an idea into a global movement. Epic Day of Service is here. The global platform is live. And on May 16th, Rotarians around the world will serve together. This is the moment we've been building toward.
Now, I have not cloned my voice yet. I could have done it, but that would have cost me a little bit of money, and I didn't want to spend it right now. But the bottom line is, you saw how that took me 5 minutes to do. Now, all I have to do is write the prompt. The prompt was, welcome Rotarians and friends around the world. I wrote this script. I dropped it in there. It automatically took that, and it took my picture, and it made my mouth move. Pretty amazing, right? This is a program called, hold on a second. I want to give that to you so you get it. This is a program called Vision Story. Vision Story. All right, so that's the first one. Let's go back to here, and we'll move forward. Now we're going to go to storytelling at scale. A single photo becomes a living story, giving voice to our shared impact, our relationships, and our person. This is Envato. I love Envato. It is an amazing platform, but this is a picture right after the foundation brunch with Mark Maloney and his wife Gay, Rick and Totney Benson, and Maribel and I. And we were at the Cafe Allegre in Madison, which many of you know. And I'm going to go ahead and click Envato. And there we are. I'm going to go ahead and click on the photo. And just what I want you to watch, let me see if I can go ahead. Oh, I want to go big here. Let's see. Do I have to do this? Oh my God. There we go. See, that was a static photo. Look what it's doing. Is this not amazing? So, and you can make it more, and you can give it stories. I have another one. But I just said, I asked them, this is a group that just had dinner. They came from the brunch, and they want to go to and say goodbye to each other. Say goodbye. And that's what happened. So this is called Envato. And you can see up top, Envato does video templates, stock video, audio, graphics, design templates, photos, and I do all of my graphics out of this. If I'm looking for a picture about something, if I go to video, let me just click on Envato for a second. I'm going to get out of this. And go here. I can just go ahead and click on videos, and then I can give it a filtering thing or put in a prompt, and it will find. So if I say Rotarians at work and click return, it's going to find pictures of Rotarians at work. Maybe not that good, but but that's something it's going to learn from. But I might do environmental photos, which I'm going to be doing with John on something. And see how you have all that environmental photos? And so it's just, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. And they have this generative AI area where you can literally do music generation, video generation, image editing, voice generation, and different voices. So that's that one. So let's go back. And then the last one I want to go to is in video. And this one's fun. This one's because it's going to take a video prompt about what we're doing, and it's going to change it up a little bit. All right. And this is also, I gave it a prompt about the foundation brunch. And here it is.
When leaders lead with heart, they inspire generations. At the Rotary 7,980 Foundation Brunch, we had the honor of dining with Mark Maloney, past Rotary International President, and his wife Gay. Their dedication to service above self is a beacon for Rotarians worldwide, a night filled with purpose, community, and legacy. Here's to those who lead by example and remind us why we serve.
Again, I didn't tell it to do any of that. It just did it, based on the prompt I gave. There's one other that I will tell you that I didn't bring up, but I want to corner Bob Davidson for a second, because Bob Davidson had a meeting with the DG Track and brought up this platform called VAPI. And Bob, stand up a second. So, because Bob's in marketing and technology as well. See, we're involved in this all together. And we're going to do some telemarketing, questioning and interviewing to bring up some, so clubs can do their articles, right?
Correct.
You want to tell a little bit, quick 1 minute?
It's an agentic journalist. It's a 5-minute call at most. And the articles that come out of it are amazing, just like what Bob's showing here.
Here, here, Bob, take the mic.
Okay, it's a agentic journalist.
Just like AI would do.
I know, I need some help here. Basically, anyone who would like to be interviewed by a AI agent, this is your chance. The article that comes out of the interview could be on your Rotary work, it could be on any topic. You tell me what topic you'd like. It's 5 minutes, and you'll really like the results. And not only that, for those of you that are in marketing, it's SEO optimized, so it'll show up on searches in Google. You all could be rock stars.
No, I'm very excited about this, as is Stephanie and Christine and Don and Julia. So this is great stuff, but we're going to move on.
What's the name?
Oh, what's the name of this one? In video.
No, VAPI.
Oh, it's called VAPI, V-A-P-P-Y.
VAPI.ai.
VAPI.ai. VAPI.ai. So with that, I'm going to go back here, and John is going to take it over from here.
When leader.
You're on.
All right. You can go to the next one.
Yeah.
I'm not nearly as experienced of a public speaker as Robert
Get
is.
out there.
So I'm going to use a script here so that, again, one of my jobs as a cybersecurity consultant is to work with organizations about how to safely use AI. So that's what this is right here. And basically, artificial intelligence is no longer something that's coming in the future. It's already here, and many of us are using it without even realizing it. So now that power can be incredibly positive, but as Rotarians, we know that without any powerful tool, with any powerful tool comes responsibility. And AI safety isn't about fear, it's about making sure that we use these tools to reflect the same values that guide everything we do: service, integrity, and trust. One of the most important things to understand about AI is what it actually is and what it isn't. AI doesn't think, it doesn't understand, and it doesn't know what's true or false. What AI does is predict words or images based on patterns from enormous amounts of data. And that means it can sound very confident, very polished, and very convincing, even when it's wrong. So when AI gives us an answer, we should think of it as a draft or a suggestion, not as an authority. The biggest risk is over-trusting AI. It's not that the AI is going to take over the world. The biggest risk is that we trust it too much. And AI can invent facts, and does all the time. It can provide outdated information. It can confidently give us answers that simply aren't true. And this becomes especially important when we're working on things like grant applications, public statements, or anything that represents Rotary publicly. If it matters, it must be checked by a human. AI can help us to get started, but it should never be the final word. And one of the simplest and most important safety rules is about privacy. We should never enter private or sensitive information into AI. The sounds right problem. I'm sorry, that was the one I just did. Next one. Yep. Yeah, so what you should never put in AI. Obviously, private or sensitive information. That includes personal contact information, financial details, medical information, or private Rotary discussions. Think of AI platforms like a public space, not a private conversation. And a good rule of thumb is this: if you wouldn't feel comfortable posting it publicly, don't put it in AI. And I made a prediction that we'll see if it happens when we come back next year. But there's really no rules or regulations at the federal level. And my prediction is that it's going to come because some celebrity is going to have their chat released to the wild. And to just imagine, yeah, please.
I just want to say George Clooney I just heard that he put a license on his name. Oh no, it wasn't George Clooney, it was Matthew McConaughey. Put a license on his name and he's trademarked for that very reason.
So, yes, so we're here. Next slide, please. Yep. So AI can actually be very helpful for Rotary clubs, as Robert just demonstrated. And when used appropriately, it's great for drafting newsletters, brainstorming ideas, improving grammar, or summarizing non-confidential information. Where we need to be careful is using AI for sensitive matters like grant finances, legal language, conflict resolution, or anything involving people's personal situations. The key idea is simple. AI can assist us, but humans must always remain responsible. AI helps, humans decide.
I have a question for you, John. So in AI, you have the ability to privatize it, don't you?
Absolutely, but you can't count on that being 100% accurate. There are settings in ChatGPT, but not every AI gives you that right. choice. So just remember, anything that you put in AI could eventually come out, and it could also be part of the training for the future. So this is, again, we're talking about for Rotary business. It also applies to your individual selves as well. When you can't believe what you see, a deep fake. I was going to say it as he was doing it. What Robert had created was an actual deep fake. AI can now create very realistic images, voices, and even videos. This makes it easier than ever to spread misinformation, sometimes unintentionally. And that means we all need to slow down before sharing content, especially if it seems shocking, emotional, or perfect. A quick pause to verify the source can prevent real harm. And Rotary's credibility depends on our judgment as much as our intentions. Yep. As I mentioned, it's not just about Rotary at work, it's also about our personal use as well. And AI should not replace doctors, lawyers, or financial advisors. It can provide general information, but it cannot understand our personal situation. And just as I said earlier, with doctors, lawyers, and financial advisors, you might get some information that's not correct. And if you base your decisions on what you've got from AI without consulting a professional, you might have, lead yourself down the wrong path. This is not on a slide, but I'll just talk about it. AI doesn't exist in a vacuum. It reflects the data that it was trained on. And that data comes from a world that isn't always fair or inclusive. That means that AI can unintentionally reinforce stereotypes or bias. This is where Rotary matters most. We must review all AI-generated content through a human lens of fairness, dignity, and respect. Technology doesn't replace ethics. It makes them that much more important. You can go back one. Yeah, but anyways, common sense. To keep things simple, Rotary clubs must follow 5 common sense rules. First, humans review everything. Second, no private data goes into AI. Third, important facts are verified. Fourth, we're transparent when we use AI to assist us. And fifth, we use AI to support people, not to replace them. These aren't technical rules, they're Rotary rules. And the simple rules, strong values. And so Rotary is always led responsibly, whether in public service, ethics, or global cooperation. AI is simply the next space where leadership matters. And when we use AI thoughtfully, we protect our members, our communities, and our credibility. AI for good doesn't just start with technology, it starts with trust, judgment, and human values. That's how we make sure AI truly serves the greater good. AI for good begins with trust. And I'll have to say, of course, that I used AI to create this presentation. And the last thing I'll say is on your way out, I have AI for Good, responsible use for clubs and ourselves, a simple safety checklist for Rotary members. If you'd like a copy, please, if we run out, we'll provide it with the deck that's coming out.
Yeah, great. John, thank you. And when John and I sat down to plan this session, he and I both felt very strongly having this part of the presentation present and really drill into Rotary values was extremely important. So I'm not going to use this. So because I've got a couple of other things to go into. So I'm going to go into Notebook LM. Now we went up last year when we did the podcast, if you recall. And I have that here, but I want to go into Notebook LM and show it to you because how many of you have touched or used it? Raise your hand. All right, only a couple. So I want to go into Notebook LM. This is Google Notebook LM. It's a fantastic tool. And what it does is, I'm going to see if I can go back out to the front.
It uses Gemini as its back end.
That's right, Gemini, Google Gemini. What you do when you create, and you can create an audio, a video overview, a mind map. This is all new, by the way. The only thing it could do before was a podcast. Now it does reports, flashcards, quizzes, infographics, slide decks, and data tables. So they're going to continue to expand this. I of course, did a podcast last year on peace, which is on the website. But I'm going to go into this video I created. And it's a few minutes, so I'll play a little bit of it so you can see what it did. The graphics are kind of odd at the beginning, but then when it takes off, it's really, really crisp. And so I'm just going to play it.
And let me just add this. If you see on the left-hand side, it says select the sources. So Robert uploaded these 3 documents that were pertinent to what we were talking about, and that just used that plus its imagination, and it came up with this.
Literally, I dropped it in, the 3 items, and it took 3 minutes for this to produce.
Today, we're looking at something pretty amazing happening in Southern Connecticut. It's an initiative that's trying to, well, compose a new score for peace, and they're using art as their main instrument. I mean, think about that for a second. Can art, something we usually think of for entertainment or self-expression, actually become a tool to build peace? Could a song actually heal a rift between people, or a mural bring a whole neighborhood together? Well, for Rotary District 7980, the answer is a big, loud yes. They've kicked off this thing called Opus for Peace, and it's all built on the idea that when you combine art with real community action, you can create some tangible, lasting harmony. So what exactly is this new Opus? Let's get into the core concept and see what it's all about. Okay, so at its heart, the mission is pretty simple, but also really ambitious. To take the idea of peace, which can feel like this vague, fuzzy concept, and turn it into a tangible reality. Something you can actually see and feel and be a part of in your own town. And that all starts with how they define peace in the first place. For them, it's not just about, the absence of conflict or people not fighting. It's about actively building something positive. It's about creating a community where everyone feels like they belong, where people have hope, and where you can actually trust your neighbors. That's a much more powerful goal, right? But, a powerful idea is one thing. How do you actually turn that into a real plan? Let's take a look at the strategic blueprint they've put together. So the whole strategy is built on these 5 pillars. It all starts with that core commitment. Then it moves outward to getting the whole community involved. From there, it's about empowering individual Rotary clubs to come up with their own ideas and take action. The next step is actively bringing different groups together. And finally, and this is so important, telling the stories of what's working to inspire even more people. It's a really smart flow from a big idea to real-world impact. And you can see how those pillars start to come to life with these concrete actions. We're talking about things like organizing cultural events, putting up visible symbols like peace poles in public parks, and throwing these big festivals that bring everyone together through art and music. And it's not just about fun events. It's also about building real skills and, crucially, getting the next generation involved right from the start. But look, having a great blueprint is one thing. Turning it into a real day-to-day playbook that people can actually use, that's the hard part. So let's see how they made that leap from just inspiration to a concrete plan of attack. The big turning point was a strategic retreat. This was where all the key players got in a room together and really hammered out the details. They moved from a bunch of great ideas to what they call a coherent, scalable, and measurable movement. In other words, a real plan. And right here, you can see that shift so clearly. On the left, you've got the big, broad vision. And on the right, you've got the action plan with hard numbers and specific targets for 2026. This is where the dream gets a deadline. This is where it gets real. Let's just pause on that first number for a second. 75 plus public events every single year. That's more than one event a week happening somewhere in Southern Connecticut, all dedicated to building peace. We're talking about a massive, sustained effort to engage the community. And their commitment is also internal. The goal is to get half, 50% of all their Rotary clubs to have their own act.
So I'm going to stop here because I got a minute left, and I have one other thing I want to show you. All we did was put the notes from that meeting in one of the drops, and it created this. We didn't tell it what to say. We didn't tell it what to show. And every one of you can do this, and it doesn't cost anything. I mean, you can't go wrong with this. So Notebook LM, Google Notebook LM. I want to jump back to this site and go through, back to the website, or to the PowerPoint. There we go. Back to the PowerPoint. Hold on a second. There we go. This was the Notebook LM podcast that we did. Very similar with two people.
Okay, so peace building.
It sounds huge-y,
I'm not going to
right? Like treaty.
And you can go on our website to listen to it. But that was the first thing that it gave us, and that was all it could do. Now it's doing a lot more, and now it's also doing infographics and much, much more. So more ideas and impact. I'm going to let you know, you're all going to get a copy of this deck, but operational efficiencies through the roof, also fundraising efficiencies through the roof. If you recall last year, I asked Christine Friedman when we did an analytic, which took 5 minutes to scale out a campaign based on all the donors within an organization. She said, oh my God, that would take my staff 2 weeks to put together. And it literally did it in a few seconds. So these are the things that it can do for your club. Think about if you have a sponsorship program in your community and you want to get an email out to them and parse out a plan, this can do it for you. So all of that. Volunteer management systems, donor increased analysis. So these are all sample campaigns with the full prompts that you're going to get. And we're going to give them to you. And plus, we're going to do more of this around the district. But I hope that this gave you a taste of what you can do. And the door is open for you to continue learning. Next year, if we have this opportunity to present to you again, hopefully we'll see 100% of us experts. So thank you all. John, thank you. And I think it's lunchtime.
I'm the current district international chair, and have been for a bunch of years. We didn't have time in the agenda today to talk about international, but if you would like me to come to your club to talk about international, me or Lila Steenbergen, we have a little PowerPoint, we can come and spend half an hour talking about international service if you like. I've been a pretty active Rotarian for all 37 of my years, and I've been a champion of the Rotary Foundation for at least 20 of those years. And I want to introduce two of my friends here today to promote, to tell you a little bit more about the Rotary Foundation and how we, through the foundation, we can make lasting impact. Ron Webb we've been chasing each other around the district for about 20 years. He was actually president of his Rotary Club the first time when I was district governor in 08-09. He's had a few other times being president also. But he's in the fourth year of his 3-year term as district foundation chair. So he's had plenty of experience. He is hoping to be replaced next year, as well as that happened. But Ron is our current foundation chair. He's been very active and very good, and we'll share some words of wisdom in a minute. Now, our last speaker talked a little bit about the Rotary Foundation, about your Rotary dues and paying for the Brain Center and all this other stuff. So there's other staff support that we also pay for. There's club and district support, and there's foundation support. Celeste is part of the foundation team. She's the major gifts officer for Zone 32. So she serves 19, 20 districts, something like that. Celeste happens to be the past president of her Rotary Club in Tennessee. She lives in Rhode Island, but is currently actually going to Harvard to get a master's degree, so she's actually living in Cambridge, so she drove down from Cambridge this morning. So I worked with foundation staff for at least 20 years, and she is, without a doubt, the best one I've ever worked with. She's terrific. Thank you for all your effort. Christine is still here someplace. Christine Friedman, where'd you go? Anyway, she and I are also co-chairs of a legacy campaign that might get touched on as well. So without further ado, I present Ron. Who's going first? Celeste's going to go first. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm going to try. These lights are like right in my face. Andy, you're making sure that it's bright, aren't you?
I don't need it now. It's okay.
No, it's fine. I'm so honored to be able to be here. I'm honored that Rick called and that I happened to be free this Saturday, because last Saturday I was in school. So it worked out really well for me to come on down and connect. I feel like an honorary member of District 7980 because I do try to come as often as I can to club fundraisers, to events, to meetings, to meet with donors, which is the actual purpose of my job as your major gifts officer at the foundation. And today they asked me to connect with Ron and talk a little bit about the foundation broadly and then connect it to the presidential message for next year of creating lasting impact. So I'm so excited to be here with Ron Webb. You just heard a little bit about Ron's background from Rick. I did a little digging on Ron before I got here. He does not know this. But I learned that Ron is celebrating his 25th year in his current club. He's been a Rotarian for 10 additional years, serving in at least 3 other clubs along the way. He's been a multiple club president many times over, an assistant governor, a district governor, served on zone committees, and in his illustrious career has now landed as your district Rotary Foundation chair. So Ron, I know that you take very seriously your role as both an educator, a facilitator to try to make all things related to the Rotary Foundation a little bit easier for the members in your district, and definitely a steward for the best and most responsible use of Rotary Foundation dollars. Rotary is so vast in its impacts, and Ron prepared some packets for all of our presidents-elect at the end that we want to make sure one goes to each club. But in it, you'll see information about Polio Plus, about the Peace Centers, about district and global grants, about disaster response, and programs of scale. Your district is one of the few that is engaged in every single one of those. That's not that common. You're extremely active and doing a tremendous amount of work, which means that Ron doesn't have the easiest job. So I wonder now, when I called him yesterday, or he called me, and I said, now Ron, how many years have you been DRFC? And he said, well, 3 years, 14 months, 17 days. And he almost got to the number of hours. It's a tough job because you guys give him so much to do. And I wonder if you can share with us, Ron, why do you decide personally to devote so much time and energy and resources into all the work you do for this district through the foundation?
Well, first, thank you for the intro. That was more than expected. I have been in Rotary for 35 years, and when I retired for the second time back in 2018, I thought I had the time to engage more heavily in Rotary. I've decided that every one of us should be lifelong learners, and so I've done that over my career. My second career was actually as a financial advisor when you had to get the Series 7, 63, 24, and you had to do a lot of independent study and so forth. So I got used to being able to go into the internet, study things, and internalize it. One of the things I've learned over the years is if you want to become an expert on something, study it 1 hour a day for a year. So my personal goal at that time was to become an expert on my Rotary, become an expert on DAC-DB, and become Rotary expert in any area that I encountered. So when the Learning Center became available, I decided to become an expert on that. One thing I've learned through Rotary is that we do an excellent job, Rotary International, in measuring and tracking results. And everybody in this room, we can track how you've given to Rotary in the past, when you gave to Rotary in the past. The one thing that we can't quantify is why you give to Rotary. So that's an unknown that we need to bring to the forefront, and that comes through some degree of internalization. And the thing is that if we help you to knock down barriers so that you can achieve your personal goals, it's very critical that giving back, i.e. through the foundation, is a very important aspect of your life. So when I started my career, I had a series of personal goals. Now you got to remember, when I was young, minimum wage was $1 an hour. So one of my goals was to retire as a millionaire. Another one was to marry somebody that would be able to establish a lifelong relationship with. It was very critical to me. And a few other things along the way. When I was in the DG track, past District Governor Rick Bassett said something that resonated with me. He says we spend 1/3 of our life learning, we spend 1/3 of our life earning, and we spend 1/3 of our life giving back. And I resolved that down to learning, earning, returning. So but the three words that are my life goals are learning, earning, returning. I met my wife in college. Our first date was on Valentine's Day in 1968. Our second date was a week later. We went to a basketball game, and I told her that I was going to marry her. A year and a half later, she said, okay. And we've been married 57 years. So I'm competing with Governor Don. We only have 8 grandchildren, but we have a couple through college and so forth. But all these personal goals that I've put in over the years, you massage those, but you keep them and internalize them. When I had a chance to become the foundation chair after serving as a district governor, I didn't anticipate the magnitude of it, but I did anticipate the importance of it. Actually, when I was district governor and Colin Gershon was my foundation chair, I said, Colin, you have the most important job at the district. I really think that the foundation is very critical because we're serving the needs of 1,800 plus people. So I applaud Rick Bassett, who's worked very diligently to help us keep above the 1,800 mark. But the reality is that Rotary International is tracking all of us and is asking us to empower ourselves to do what's right for us as individuals. And if you think about what's important in your life, Rotary's foundation, which came into existence in 1917, gives us the ability to determine where our dollars go and how we can use those to our advantage. So when I spent my second career as a financial advisor for 17 plus years, my goal was to help people accumulate wealth, and I think I did a pretty good job of that, and I had a lot of people thank me for that. But one of the lessons learned is we need to have a good offense and we need to have a good defense. And as I look around the room, I know everybody in here had a good offense. You found a way to become educated, to become stellar citizens of your community, and you were rewarded by having the ability to acquire wealth and to put that away. One of the things I found in working with a lot of individuals is that we don't know how to create a good defense. And you say, what does that mean? Well, I worked with a lot of people that were high income earners, but they were spending money faster than they were earning it. So the net was a negative cash flow. When you get to the retirement age where I am at, just barely, you have to start thinking of how are we going to give it away. One is you can give it to the government, other is you can give it away in such a way as to mitigate taxes and so forth. So as we work with different individuals based on your age, your income requirements and so forth, how do we optimize that? And my goal is to help you to do that. So I did spend a year studying very diligently my Rotary and Rotary Foundation, and I can help you to find information and help you to develop a strategy to optimize your cash flow to help yourself and help those around you. The good thing is the foundation empowers you to decide where your money is going to go. That's the biggest thing. I think we all get these letters in the mail in December from 103 different nonprofits, and we feel sorry for all 103 of them, and we'd love to send a $100 check to every one. And then we found out later that a couple of them that only about 15 to 20 cents on the dollar makes its way to our calls, and we feel bad about most of it going into the pocket of the solicitors. Rotary Foundation, with the 4-star rating for the past 17 years, has done an excellent job of demonstrating how well we manage funds. So we should be applauding those people in Evanston that are watching our dollars for us and are wearing the fiduciary hat. And as an extension of that, I wear the fiduciary hat within our district to make sure that your dollars go where you want it to go. Which means that sometimes when you want to spend money in a way that violates policy and code, I bring it to your attention and I become the bad guy, which is quite all right. But the thing is that we need to have a fiduciary responsibility to our 1,800 plus members and help you to get the most out of where your dollars go. I also learned that many people who were part of the legacy that's been around for 20 plus years, being one of them myself, is that we like to do things the way we used to do things because that's the way we were successful. But we have automated the website and done a lot of things to make life a lot easier. So I keep getting reoccurring calls from different individuals, and you find out you end up doing a one-on-one Zoom call. And it's kind of hard to do that with 1,800 people. But the fact is that I do want to help you guys, and I'll never say no to you. If anybody wants help, I'll always make sure you get that. But we have the ability to do so many things, so many good things working together as a team, as a collaborative effort that we have. I was at a little workshop yesterday, and they were talking about policies. I looked at the policies for Rotary that's 560 pages long. So we have everything well defined. Right now, our district stands at the top of Zone 32. We talked earlier about Zone 32 being made up of about 20 districts. As we work our way around the world and we try to divide the 1.2 million up into controllable models, the zone is made up of a group of districts that are usually around 35,000 Rotarians. It varies because our head count varies on a daily basis. When we start our Rotary year, the number of Rotarians we have on that date gets locked in for calculation purposes because I send reports out to a lot of you on how we're doing, and it's tied to the people that were members of the club on July 1st. You may have 3 people leave your club and 4 come in, but the net effect is we're only measuring the ones that came in for the full year, so you won't be penalized on commercials. But I started looking at all the reoccurring questions, so I put a little packet together, which I printed more than 39. I think we have enough for all of the presidents-elect to take home with you, but what I did was I looked at those things that you ask me about frequently, and I put it in a paper copy. I don't do this usually because I believe that it's smarter to save money by getting it to it electronically, but if you're uncomfortable looking electronically, please take one of these with you at the end of the day, and I think we have enough for everybody, so if you have more than one, that's fine.
We do, indeed. I want to touch base on some of the things, or pick up some of the things that you dropped in there.
Okay.
First of all, what I heard you say is part of your personal motivation is knowing that the dollars contributed to Rotary are going where donors want them to.
Absolutely.
I heard you say that the idea that Rotarians get to direct those dollars to the causes that the Rotarians care about.
Yes.
That's something that motivates you. And I heard you talk about Rotary's 17th year straight with the highest rating by Charity Navigator, which we are among the 0.0002% of charities in the world to achieve that designation. So that is something for every Rotarian to be proud of. And I also heard you talk about your learning, earning, and returning model, which I think is a beautiful way to summarize what we all hope to do as Rotarians. It made me think that in my work, I'm specifically a major gift officer for the Rotary Foundation, and so I'm working with individuals who are trying to navigate their way towards a 5-, 6-, 7-figure gift to the Rotary Foundation. I haven't yet found someone with that 8-figure gift, but if you know them, please make sure you get my card. And there's one word that I always hear those individuals say at the end. Yes, these are people who care a lot about return on investment, right? When you think about a return on investment to a charity like Rotary, you're not looking at dividends or dollars. You're looking at the smile on a child's face after they had cleft palate surgery. right? You're seeing the report card of a student who was able to go to school instead of carrying water across their village. You see the small business owner who's able to have a livelihood as a result of the impacts that Rotary has made to support their operations. And you see all of these returns that can't be measured by dollars alone. So return on investment isn't something that I often talk about with my donors, but what we do talk about is trust. The number one reason Rotarians support the Rotary Foundation is because they trust that the Rotarian across the world on the other side who's putting that dollar to work shares the same values and the same care for their community that you do right here. So let's talk for a moment about the ways members of this district invest in the Rotary Foundation. Ron just noted that you guys are top givers in Zone 32, which is no small feat. That includes metropolitan New York City. That includes some of the most affluent communities in America, and you guys still come in as #1. That's almost $250,000 every year that you're giving to the annual fund, where the dollars come back through district and global grants that you're able to put to work, to Polio Plus, which you guys fell just short of that goal last year, and I look forward to seeing what you do this year. You're very close already to that goal. And then you had $80,000 going specifically to direct grants that people wanted to support. Another $200,000 building a firm foundation through the endowment fund, all coming from Rotarians in your district. So Ron, I know that you share a little bit of frustration as to the number of people who are making these impacts happen. And I wonder if you can share, just shed some light for the people in this room, who is contributing and what does the impact look like if every Rotarian was able to contribute?
Thank you for that open-ended question that has lots of answers.
We only got 20 minutes, Ron.
All right, using round numbers, we have approximately 1,800 members of our district. We're ranked #1 in our zone in donations, but the donations are coming from approximately 600 of those 1,800. So we're only about 30 to 40% engaged. Once again, at the beginning of my talk, I said I'm not sure why people give, and that's a personal thing. But I have the tools to share with each of the clubs, the various reports. We have a banner recognition report that shows how many members are making donations and so forth. And also, we understand that there's some gaps in there that makes it a little bit difficult. The thing is that if 100% of our Rotarians, all 1,800 of them, gave a minimum of $100 a year, which is one of our thresholds, because now we can be eligible for some of the recognitions from that. Just think about over 1,000 people putting an extra $100 in, $100,000 that wasn't there from before, all over and above what we're doing. So we have, over the past couple of years, given $700,000 to the foundation. But the mix is changing. We have multiple ways that we can give money, and it goes into multiple pools. It's managed for us. We've all heard over the years the annual fund and the share fund, because there's a selfish reason for that. That money goes to Rotary International. The rules change on a yearly basis, so many of you have MOUs that you fill out, and you take the grant management seminar so you understand how things occur, and then all of a sudden July 1 comes and you're no longer qualified because you need to do a refresher on your grant management seminar, which is kind of like what we did in the past when we'd meet at the 4 points. We'd go into a all-day session, and the next year we could go to a truncated session for a refresher. So it's very critical that we stay on top of things, because things are changing on a daily basis. And I find that very interesting, because I send you a report saying this is what the numbers were on December 31st. This is the end of the year. Then we're talking a week or so later, and I show you a report. You say, these numbers aren't the same as they were last week. And I say, no, we're in a robust environment. So you're demanding from me that I give you current numbers. But when I ask you to look at the decision rules that we're living by, you say, give me a snapshot from something that was in the past and I'll work with that. I say you need to be aware of what's going on for continuous change because we're part of the solution that makes our rating as a foundation so high. We live by those rules and we manage the rules going forward. So one thing I tried to do about 5 years ago was to get the number of people signed up for my Rotary accounts up from 42% to 100%. We know that's not doable, but we actually went from 45 to 52%. But when you bring a new member into the club, you invite them in and you share with them your passion and your understanding of how this really makes sense. Those 1,800 Rotarians have some type of a vision of how they can be benefited by giving to the foundation, but then there's a disconnect that occurs along the way. So right now, about 45% of our Rotarians do not have my Rotary account, so I put a challenge out to each club president, make sure that your club's 100% connected. It's kind of like joining a library but never getting the library card. This allows you to get in and see what's going on in Rotary and helps you to move forward from there. But at the same time, encourage those members that are not making contributions on an annual basis to perhaps start with a small amount. If you want to start with $25, that's what some of the clubs do now. Many of the rules say if everybody contributes at least $25, but the average contribution is $100, i.e. you're now eligible for one of the recognitions, because it means there's a few people with deep pockets that are putting more money in to create the average that we're looking for. There's all kinds of little exceptions showing up in the system, which are Rotary International things we need to fix. If somebody puts $100,000 in, all of a sudden the per capita giving for the club jumps out of sight and so forth. But if that money goes away the next year, it drops back down. So everything we need to do needs to be sustainable from year to year. How do we keep it going? So I encourage you to work with your clubs to have 100% engagement at some level. We have positive reinforcement. We give opportunities to do your deposits electronically. You can set it up like a credit card billing on a monthly basis for small amounts and or large amounts. And if you're retired and you want to take advantage of tax breaks, there's things that we can do to help you optimize that going forward.
And that's my job, is to help you do that.
That's right. I gave up my license as a defense advisor, so I can't give tax advice to you. I encourage you to go to the people that are qualified, certified now. And as they always say, past performance is no indication of future performance. But our goal is to get everybody contributing to some degree and to slowly move that banner up based on your passion for what's right for you, as well as your understanding of how those dollars can be used for you to help people around you in those areas that are of great focus to you.
And I should maybe clarify, I also do not give tax, legal, or financial advice, but I can help you navigate how to do the most good through the Rotary Foundation. So I'm curious, how many people in this room are surprised to hear that only 40% of your members support the foundation? I'm kind of shocked by that number, right? And it reminds me of how shocked I was when I learned about how Rotarians support our #1 project around the globe. Only 1/3 of Rotarians support the Polio Plus initiative. And that really just kind of hit me and made me realize how many people just don't understand what we do with polio and why. And so I love telling this story, and I apologize to those of you who have heard me say it in other contexts. But the way I got to meet some newer Rotarians this morning through speed dating, thank you, Julia. And I remembered the first time that I brought a new member into Rotary, and the very first thing they heard about the Rotary Foundation was an ask to give money to polio. Now you might as well have been telling them that they were giving money to teach mushrooms how to speak German, because the idea of supporting polio, which nobody even knows is a thing, and that's what Rotary is doing to eradicate it across the world, was such a foreign concept. So I love sharing with people the story about how Rotary got engaged with polio and why, as it was shared with me by past Rotary International President Ray Klinging-Smith. He said that, in the 70s, we had Rotary clubs all over the world at that point, and the board looked around and they said, we have 1.2 million people in all corners of the world. What can we do to unite them, to do a single project related to service. So they set aside a pot of funding, and they said, let's ask Rotarians, what do you want to do? It's one of my favorite things about Rotary. Rotarians, with a good idea, get to decide what they want to do. And there was a physician in the Philippines who raised his hand and said, I have an idea. He said, I think that I can fully eradicate polio from the Philippines with the amount of money you have available with this grant. They gave him the grant, he had great success, and they realized they could scale it. So Ray Klinging-Smith told me they walked over to the World Health Organization and they knocked on the door. Hi, we're Rotary. We want to eradicate polio. And they said they got laughed out of the room. They looked at them and they said, you are not public health experts. You are men who sit around and eat chicken for lunch. Get out of here and leave this job to us. And so he said they sheepishly left with their tails between their legs, went back to Rotary's headquarters, and said, well, we know that Rotarians care about this. Let's see what we can do alone. So they launched a new fundraising campaign, and that goal was doubled within a short time. And they said, no, wait a minute, we know we're onto something. They went back to the World Health Organization. They said, hi, we're back. We still want to eradicate polio, and this time we have a substantial chunk of change and 1.2 million people across the globe who care. And that collective power of what Rotary was able to do to have that door opened is really the power of Rotary still today. So when I think about supporting polio, for me, as a millennial, who honestly only had a high school teacher that I knew had polio and had not thought of it since, I think about being a part of something so much greater than I am. And I could talk about polio all day long, but I've had the good pleasure recently of becoming friends with a gentleman who led the polio eradication campaign in Islamabad in recent years. And he was shocked when I told him that the 39 cases we have today are primarily in Pakistan. And he said, well, that can't be. And I said, well, that's what the data says. And he said, you know, that border between Pakistan and Afghanistan, where this virus still lives, is so transient. It's hard to tell who's a Pakistani and who's an Afghan. So those counts don't necessarily mean a nationality. Those counts represent the conflict that exists there. And so I want to turn our discussion to peace just really quickly, because your district is a wonderful supporter of Rotary's peace programs in so many ways. Rotary is about to launch our next peace center out in India, and we've already opened the one in the Middle East. Ron, from your perspective as foundation chair, what are some of the ways you see Rotarians investing in peace, supporting scholars, supporting the area of focus? Where do you see the impact people are making in peace?
Within our district, we have had a heavy propensity to work with scholars in the past. One of the things we do as a district is we fund 2 grants annually. These are $30,000 global grants. And we take $16,667 with an 80% match from the World Fund to bring it up to $30,000. We're going to be interviewing some students in the near future, and the criteria is very stringent, but we do this in order to keep the continuity going around the world. We also have the opportunity to make large donations to the World Peace Centers, and we have the opportunity, if we really want to focus on education as a source for peace, is to set up endowments. And we can do endowments of whatever size, but we have the ability to take our dollars, and besides putting it to the annual fund or polio or specific grants, we can also go for focus on individual causes, with peace being one of those, education being another, disease prevention and so forth. But each one of us has our own personal bias as to how we can do that. But the thing is that these all tie together. When we improve the quality of life worldwide for these individuals through these initiatives, it leads towards the peace initiative that we're working for. So our areas of focus are collaborated in a very uniform fashion. Makes a lot of sense.
And yes, the members of your district are so supportive across the board. Peace is just one small component of that. It reminded me of, I don't know if anyone read Warren Buffett's last letter to his shareholders this fall, but in it, he talked about Alfred Nobel. Do you remember this? And he said, keep in mind Alfred Nobel, who later became known as founding the Peace Prize. And the story Warren Buffett shared is that Alfred Nobel accidentally read his own obituary in the newspaper once. There was a mix-up, his brother had passed away, and they printed the wrong obituary. And so Nobel read his obituary, and he was known for founding dynamite. And he was not thrilled at the reputation that that was giving him. He did not want his legacy to be known as someone who was destructive. He wanted his legacy to be known as someone who promoted peace. And so what Warren Buffett said as he shared this story, he said, don't count on a newsroom mix-up. Decide what you would like your obituary to say and live the life to deserve it. Greatness does not come about through accumulating great amounts of money, great amounts of publicity, or great power in government. When you help someone in any thousands of ways, you help the world. And to me, that's exactly what Rotarians do through our Rotary Foundation. We're helping people in many thousands of ways, some of which you don't even know. People you will never meet, but you are helping the world. So Ron, we've touched on so many topics and hopefully have not confused people more about the ways that Rotary Foundation has such impact and that you guys impact it. But the opportunities to make a lasting impact are so great. What are some of the resources that you would encourage people to use to educate themselves about the ways to give and the impact that they're having?
Thank you. The annual fund is something that we can contribute to by having 100% donations, 100% of the members making partial donations to the annual fund. And they can do that through individual contributions online. They can do it by mailing a check to Rotary International. We can set it up in a multitude of ways. That money is invested for 3 years, and the money comes back and gets split between district grants and global grants, which we get a chance to define. So we have, that's definitely a way of us keeping the continuity going. We mentioned briefly, or also polio. The thing about polio is the money is spent the year that it is given. If we give $1,000 or $1,500, I'll use 15 as the example, because Rotary worldwide has encouraged every club to donate a minimum of $1,500. But if your club puts in $1,500 and we send that in for polio eradication, the Gates Foundation matches that 2 for 1, and that becomes $4,500. Although the drop in serum for the child is less than $1, it's an average cost of about $1 per child to immunize them. So if you make a $1,500 donation, you're helping to immunize 4,500 children in the world. And if we had our last case of polio today, we'd continue this process of immunizing these young children for the next 3 years through a certification process, so it doesn't end right away. So please keep that in mind as another avenue of service. But the thing is that we want to make it easy for you. You can go on the My Rotary where it says donate, you click, you can go in, you can identify which of the causes that you want to donate to, you can identify a dollar amount, you can put in your credit card information and send that through, and you get a confirmation back very quickly. If you're doing that on behalf of your clubs, some clubs will fill out a paper form and mail it in, and there will be typo errors and so forth, but we now have the ability to go in, pull up your club, put in a pre-populated form that lists all your club members, their club ID numbers, all the things that we make mistakes on, and you can go through and put the quantity per person. It doesn't have to be the same amount, and you can send that through. What I would encourage is your club having a debit card where you can make the payment online rather than sending it by snail mail. We can speed up the process, especially if you're at the end of the year when you're trying to do something before December 31st and there's a series of deadlines. You get anxious, and most people don't know that the form's there, and now that I've told you it's there, most of you will not be able to find it. So the next part is to help educate you on how to find these tools within the website. I'm happy to come to any one of your clubs or to any of your club board meetings to share with you and help you navigate through and get started. Everything we do in Rotary should be sustainable, including foundation giving should be sustainable. You'll hear that word that it drives you crazy. When we do grants, they need to be sustainable. So remember sustainable, but you'll hear me say that several times to you as we go forward together. But we need to create recurring models that are positive. Rotary understands that, and we reinforce it through a series of accolades. I wore some of my little badges today that you have to contribute a certain amount to be a Paul Harris. Paul Harris comes one of two ways. You can donate $1,000 over a period of time and get a Paul Harris. Your club can say you're worthwhile because of your in-kind contribution. They can donate 1,000 Paul Harris points and you get a Paul Harris. The first time you get one, you also get a nice certificate with it. And our goal is that each year you get a Paul Harris going forward until you hit major donor and so forth. And if you want to do that, we need to set you up so that you're donating $1,000 a year, and you can use the same model for that as well. As we go through our life and we look at our success factors, our income increases, but many times our contributions don't increase at the same level. We need to be cognizant of that as well. How much can we give back, still maintain that quality of life that we're looking for, and have that peace of mind in our heart, because what we're giving, the only way we're going to recognize the importance of our gifts is by how it makes us feel inside. If we feel right about what we're giving and we feel good about it because we know where it goes where we want it to go, we'll do it over and over and over again. If we don't, we'll look for other sources of satisfaction. And we want you all to be happy, healthy Rotary donators. Thank you.
And it all starts somewhere. I love these 26.5 buttons because 2650 was the first amount given to the Rotary's endowment back in 1917. And it made me think, if everyone here wearing a button gave 2650 to the endowment, that would be a wonderful foundation for your future here. So I want to just close with a little vignette that happened when I was at Rotary's headquarters this fall at an induction of our newest class of Arch Club Society members. They do a tour of one Rotary Center, which I encourage every Rotarian to do if you're ever in the Chicago area. And the tour guide gestured up on the wall. There's a photo of Paul Harris and the three other dudes whose names I am learning, from when they first started the first Rotary Club. And she said they had no idea what they were starting. And it just made me think, none of us have any idea of the history we are making right now with the actions we are doing in our Rotary clubs. But your engagement in your clubs, your service to your community, your leveraging of our Rotary Foundation is bound to make history. It's changing someone's life as an individual, it's changing communities at large, and it's changing yourself inside of you. And so I encourage every single one of you, however you are able to, however you choose to, however you inspire others, start somewhere. Start something towards the lasting impact that you're going to make this year and next year, and as Ron says, sustainably moving forward. So thank you guys for joining us for this conversation. Thank you, Ron.
Yeah, great to be here.
Question. You know, I was not surprised to see the percentage of people that are actually giving, because it kind of reflects what's happening in our club as well. But I think the reason for that is most people don't understand what the foundation does. I was wondering, have you guys considered doing a promotional call to action video that we could show in our clubs on a quarterly basis or something like that? That'll, remind people. We always have a push at the end of the year because you get your tax deduction in, but it would be nice to have something that we could show. So here's what the foundation does. Here's why you should be giving, and show it on a quarterly basis. Is there anything like that?
I don't see Stephanie in here.
She just stepped out.
But I
can do that.
did hear Julia say earlier that District Governor Stephanie has a video competition going on right now. And I was hoping the foundation might be one of those areas. The Rotary Foundation does have some videos you can share. I will say we are currently working with our communications team at Rotary International which we have to beg to get access to create some more evergreen foundation content for you guys, for us to use as staff as well. But I strongly encourage always the Giving Tuesday message that comes out through Rotary is a really powerful one. The year-end video that comes out when we celebrate the success is a wonderful one that few Rotarians see unless you're sharing them in your clubs. And so, you know, Ron noted some of the resources that are available. I know Laura was also talking about the Brand Center. Use some of the content that's available for you for sure. There's also, I know Ron will talk until you stop listening, to the Learning Center, and there are actually some wonderful snippets in there that you can use as well. I agree, the Rotary Foundation is the greatest secret in the Rotary world. If more people understood the impact we could be making through it, more people would be engaging. So thank you very much for that question.
One added, I send out a foundation moment periodically. I can attach to it links to some of the videos so that you can have those to share with your club. So most of you should be getting the foundation moments, so we'll continue that.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank
We're
you.
handing it over to Don.
Pick up Wendy's on the way out, please. We have
and talk about lessons learned and what we're going to take away with. But to the point that was just discussed about that, just moving a little ahead just a little bit, I'm reminded of the metaphor of a horse race. And the first horse, we'll say, gets a prize of $50,000, and the second horse gets a prize of, say, $25,000. Why do we give the first horse twice as much money than the second horse? Does that first horse has to run twice as far, twice? No, just has to be a nose ahead. That's to keep in saying. Just a little bit more over time. In the International Assembly I attended here a couple of weeks ago, and President-elect Yanka came up with this idea, and I suggest this to you, to your clubs. He says, take a look at the last 5 years of your club, and then identify the one that was the best. Whatever criteria, by membership or for a foundation or whatever. And he said, take that as a blueprint for your next year and just kind of eat it up, just 15%. That's all. 15% more members, 15% more to the foundation, and so on. What a big difference that's going to make. So I leave that with you. So let's just say a few moments about what did you get out of this? What's your takeaways? What are you going to do with, what are some of the things that you're going to do? Let's share. Yes?
I got a lot out of the AI piece.
The AI, yeah.
You know, I kind of struggle with writing how do I put a news article together or something like that. That was excellent.
Yeah, that's worth the price of admission for sure. Yeah. Anybody else? Yes, please.
The branding, I didn't realize you could do like flyers and some of those other items from the branding, so I didn't using that going forward.
These are all little things that help us to move just a little bit faster in running the race. Yeah. How about the kids up in the cheap seats up there? Did you miss the whole program? You're sitting there watching your phone and everything. Yes.
I have a question. So about the foundations, when it's said that only a third give to polio, for example, what about when clubs have fundraisers and everybody goes and buys a ticket? Then that's like what, a donation from the club and not the individual? But aren't all the people buying the ticket, you know?
It depends how your club submits the information, and part of what Ron was sharing was some of the resources that make it easy for you to submit it on behalf of each member of the club.
Anybody else? Up there. Yeah, please.
I like the idea of the membership and how we're trying to get more membership and retain members and lose members and gain members because it's the sustainability of the Rotary for what it does, and I think that being creative in that area on coming up with solutions, because I'm new, this is my second year. Well, actually not a year, but this is my second coming to this. And this year, I was able to understand Rotary more than just going to the meetings. And it was the breakout session when everything was broken down. And then I saw, the different areas. And so my mind started to expand on what I could do. I haven't come up with what I'm going to do, so we can't share that right now. But I do believe that membership, and we spoke about it in our last club meeting. So that would be the area that I thought was a good area.
Thank you for that. All right.
Cheap seats over here. I'm going to be encouraging our members to enroll into my Rotary account. I think that's very important, and it will keep them engaged, and it's important for the club to be somewhat cohesive.
Very good, thank you. Sam?
Sam.
A few years ago at one of our events, it might have even been at Northeast Fells, I think you were involved, Robert, in putting together a video that was so inspiring. It hit at the heart of what we do as Rotarians. And it's very similar to the theme that you, Ron, where you mentioned about, returning, because that's what we do. We want to return. I would like to see us think about when we plan Rotary events, and we'll bring this back to our clubs as well, mine particularly. That inspirational moment keeps us grounded. The rest of this is mechanism, it's management, it's execution. But that's the mission, and we should keep the mission at the forefront. So I applaud you, Ron, for bringing that up, and Celeste for discussing that in the context of the Rotary Foundation. But it really is at the heart of all we do as Rotarians. And so that is my big takeaway from today, is to re-emphasize our mission. And I love the pattern of learning, earning, and returning. I'm reminded of John Wesley saying, earn all you can, save all you can, give all you can. So thank you all for being committed Rotarians.
I had thought that polio had been eradicated many years ago, so it seemed like an old mission.
Oh, that one may not be working now.
Not working, I'll talk
I
a
got
little
it, I got
louder.
it.
It seemed like an old mission for Rotarians, all right, and I'm glad, that I'm learning more about it, that it is still an active disease that, we need to eradicate, because it should be eradicated, and enough money collected will see that happens.
I saw a hand back here.
Another hand? I think we could do very, very well by doing more of the same. But I think, going busy, if we want to go to the next level, we need a big idea. I mean, 30, 40 years ago, whatever it is, polio was a big idea. What's our big idea for 2026? And they talk about creating lasting change, or image, what is it? What is that in Rotary together? What's the big idea? And we're challenging ourselves in our club to figure out what our big idea is. And remember what we name ourselves kind of like the BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. And one of the things, I look at also membership. Rotary International, what I think the goal is, you can correct me if I'm wrong, 1.2 million by 2030, when 125. 1.2 million. We've been at 1.2 million for as long as I've been a Rotarian. So that's not a big membership jump and goal. We should be 2 million. And so I think we should, I challenge people in Evanston, by the way. You know, I challenge the people in Evanston. What is that big idea? And I've written to John Heacle. In fact, I written to Larry Lunsford, and I got a reply back. I said, what's the big idea? 1.2 million members by 2030.
About world peace.
We're here. And so I think we don't think big enough. We use a lot of nice words, but I don't think we do. Think big enough, challenge ourselves, and lead by what's needed. We know what's needed. I mean, the world's falling apart. We start talking about bridging the divide. What are we doing in that area? And also, we talk about peace, and I said, you know, we give money to the peace centers. 100 people, 150 people every year. What about the hundreds and thousands of Rotarians here that should be supported? And so, I think that's, I'm glad I got a chance to. and the thing is, you know, by the way, our club, the thing is the fact that our motto is do good, feel good, have fun. Love it. And so while I'm sort of spotting out, our club is terrific, and I have fun, and I feel good with the people, and I think we challenge ourselves. And I just encourage you all to have the fun of challenging yourself for a big idea. And also they said, by the way, aim high, and even if you don't reach it, you probably went higher than if you settled for just doing more of the same. So, thank you guys.
Any others? David? Well, my takeaway was is interaction and networking. When I did the speed dating with Julia, nothing. It's okay.
What?
I met a gentleman, Dan up in the top there, and we exchanged some ideas, and we networked, and we're going to continue to network about it's something that we're engaged in and we're learning about. So, I think that that's really important about Rotary, and that's what Rotary was really started around, is that networking, that engagement with each other. So, encourage everybody to continue to share ideas and to, bring those ideas forward. So, that's
Thank you, David.
Yep.
Any others? Any others? Ron?
I'll just add, I always say, I've never found a good idea that I can't find funding for. So bring those big ideas. Gates will do it. We'll find the 8 figures when we have the big ideas.
Yeah. All right, you got 1 minute.
Just for the sake of the group, 1.2 million today is made up of 25% US and 75% everybody else. It used to be 100% US. So we need to look at how the demographics are changing. Even though we're growing, US population in Rotary is declining at double-digit rates. So we need to bring up the US involvement. There's a major shift there, a paradigm shift we have to work on.
Thank you. Any others? Let me leave you with this last thought. I think we're kind of tired altogether. And to Dennis's point, we're only limited by the dreams that we have. Nothing is impossible. And if you decide you're going to shoot for the stars, well, maybe you just wind up in the moon. And I leave you with this, and I share this a lot, that great it is to dream in youth while standing on the starry shore, but greater still to live life through and find out that your dreams were always true. Thank you for being here. God bless you all, and let's go forward. A good 6 years going up. Thank you all. Drive safely. Maybe have a snowman tomorrow, and really some fun sometime.